Well, hello. Today I'm going to be doing a VOD review for the another Trine Overwatch team. With there are four of them. I'm the captain of the third team, and so this is the fourth team. I will be doing footage review for my own team later on this week with another friend of mine who is a captain for a Nevermore esports team, and we'll be doing that review together. But I'm going to do this one personally by myself. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to have to skip to the start of the map, probably. Okay. So we're going to be watching from one of their DPS's perspectives. Specifically, Shigar.
Okay, I don't see him under the archway, so they must be sitting up on the balcony on the next turn.
Okay, I like how he's calling that out.
That's pretty standard setup. They might be going to Orisa setup if they're setting up there.
Yep.
Okay, there. Let's see how they roll out.
Yep. They have a Moira.
Jumps off high ground. Okay,
nope,
we're gonna.
Eva Rhine.
So they've called out the comp a little bit.
They have a Torb.
I predicted that.
Okay. I kind of like the idea of where he's positioning. Oh. He's back up top. Okay.
You're safe. I got you. You can count on me. Break behind you.
Okay. So. Oh, okay. So Mercy got picked as I paused. Interesting. Okay, so it started out okay. He was taking a low ground angle so that he could shoot up there without presenting too much risk to himself, which was an idea. Let's see. Let's watch back a little bit. Too far. So yeah, he's poking.
Yeah, they have to come down eventually contest us.
There's already uses bubble. Junkrat jumps to high ground to get away from the Rhine, which is good. Okay, and then right here. Right here. Yeah, that's... Okay, there's the first problem. For the Junkrat player, let's rewind that a little bit. So when he goes up to the high ground, it's not a bad idea at first. So right here, this is good. That's fine. But now, okay, he's not actually shooting at anything. Like, your Junkrat, you're all about getting controlled spam damage on targets. Here he's trying to, I think, throw some damage at the soldier, and not successfully. Meanwhile, if you look down right here, I don't have a drawing tool, but right down here, his team is getting flanked. And even if it's not necessarily a flank, like his team's getting attacked and he's focusing on the soldier who probably can't kill anyone immediately. And he can deal with him later, but right now his team's getting flanked and he's up here and not reacting to it. And what happens? Torb picks the Mercy, and that was a lot. So the Torb picked the Mercy, Soldier picked the Widow, which probably shouldn't have happened. But it was pretty good in that 1v1. Wow, okay. Oh, shoot. Let's get back too far.
Jump down. You can count on me. Break behind you.
Mercy dies, and just everyone in that space just dies immediately. Like, Wow, that was... Oof. That's rough. So, yeah.
Yep, regroup. Back up. Back up, Alex. Back up. I'm trying.
Okay.
Alright.
We're getting frustrated. That's not good. They're all getting frustrated at this.
Alright.
Okay, I don't hear any calls about how they're gonna approach this differently than they did last
I
time.
almost have grabs.
Okay, calling out yes, grab. That's
First shadow, so we try to use that first.
okay. So I think most of what I'm seeing are not like. I mean, yeah, the Junkrat's making a few like mistakes on where he should. Well, they're all just making positioning mistakes, but they're just not trying to strategize about how they're going to approach this at all. Oh,
No shadow from him.
shadow denied.
Finish him. Let's go.
God.
Got him.
I'm low.
Got the diva.
Okay. I can't tell if that shadow got blocked. Either way,
Finish him. Let's
the
go.
Rhine and Brig get melted by the Rhine, and then their Rhine dies.
I'm low.
Got the diva.
Junkrat gets some good spam damage.
Go forward.
Ew. Wasn't playing in cover enough.
Got the murder.
Be careful that soldier.
He did.
They're giving.
I almost got ripped tire.
Yep. Ryan came through perhaps. No, they're not giving actually. They're gonna try contest. Ult out.
Okay, he's pressing tab, but he's not pressing it for long enough to actually get any vital information out of it.
Hey, there's a turret. Got the turret.
Soldiers.
I think I was talking, but
Hide. There's a turret.
Yeah, we didn't combo ultimate there. That's good. Or cross them over.
Hey, there's a turret. Got the turret.
okay, no, there was no shadow.
Soldiers ult. No, they're not giving actually.
I don't think there was a.
Ult
Oh.
out. Alright. Yeah, we didn't combo ultimate there. That's good. Or cross
Yeah,
them
no
over.
ults are used
Got
for
the
their
turret.
team.
Soldiers.
Their team uses attack visor. Hides under the cart.
Soldiers on low ground. Fight cart. Got him.
Oh. They weren't paying enough.
Nice shot.
So they called the visor, but people just kind of stood out in the open and let it happen anyway. Like you need to react to these things and get to cover, because if you don't get to cover, you're fucked. And what happens? Well, you get picked
He
twice.
is behind.
Granted, you would have like a severe spawn advantage over them, but like those picks shouldn't have happened anyway. That you've essentially just
Alright, push up.
like gave them a couple of free kills for no reason other than
I got ripped tire.
you just forgot to avoid sightlines.
Okay, it looks like they're defending in the plaza.
Alright.
Where's the turret at?
Alright, we can use the ultimates for this. Great fight.
Doesn't okay.
We're going great so far, guys. We got this.
No strategy.
That turret.
Still, there's still not a lot of strategy going on here. Like, not expecting like 200 IQ like
Doors behind.
gladiators strats or anything, but like I need to hear more than just we can use ults this fight.
Lots of fight.
That's just
Gotta get out of there.
I don't know what happened there exactly. So
Regroup, we got this. We still have 5, 4.
okay, okay. We've called for a regroup at this point, which is good. Junkrat was still putting damage, still shooting at the other team and letting the other team shoot at him,
We'll use grab
even though
next
he's
time.
like being called to regroup. Okay.
I gotta get behind
Get
him.
the user shatter.
Get it behind him.
Okay, Junkrat's on a flank.
Out. They're all in payload.
Okay, he is.
Oh, they ate it up.
Okay, Amshigar, if and when you watch this, this is your team lost this fight because of you. Like, everything up until now has been kind of like, okay, everyone's making key mistakes here. This fight is specifically your fault because your Zarya, I want to say his actual name, I'm trying to remember it. Augment, your Zarya. He used grab and got a whole bunch of them. And you were on the other side of the map, away from it, and you didn't even try to go towards it. You're now high ground, yes, but you're nowhere. You didn't follow up on that grab. You missed a key opportunity to get value. Like, you didn't even need you didn't even need Riptire. You could have just gone straight up and just W mouse one, throw a concussion mine, and you would have gotten 3 or 4 picks on that fight, in that grab, and then you probably wouldn't have lost this fight.
Soldiers down.
Damn, I'm down. But I'm at 87.
Yeah.
Blast, I'm down as well.
Okay, you're ulting after the fight's over. This is on you again. Yeah, you got a couple of picks, but you still cannot initiate. Like, even you recognize that you can't do anything now. So you've wasted an ult, and you've now wasted an ult that could have been very useful next fight, since you already screwed up the beginning of that fight. Like, it's okay to go on flanks, but communicate with your team, because if they're going to do something like a grab, you probably should be with your front line. Or you shouldn't take as long of a route to flank like you did. Because you probably could have just jumped up high ground that fight. I believe you can get that high with concussion mine. But you could have gone up onto the balcony and just fallen off as soon as you use grab. And instead, you've not only made his ult useless because you weren't there to follow up, but now your Riptire has gotten exactly 0 value.
Alright. We'll use Earth Shatter and Mercy next fight, hopefully. I'm almost there. I'm a little behind.
Okay. Your Ryan shattered and got... Guys got 3.5. 4. Yep, there you go. The soldier's still on high ground. He hasn't been dealt with yet.
Soldier's underneath left. He's going back to his team.
We got
Can't stop that.
Haven't looked to stagger the soldier yet. So I'll figure out where he is. Soldier picked your Mercy. If you guys had just gone for that soldier, your Mercy wouldn't have gotten picked. You got, whenever you win those fights, like, you have to push up and take space and get any of the last remaining enemies so that they can't try to get a sneaky pick on you to start off the next fight.
They go and counter Junkrat.
They have a Zarya now.
Also, nobody has called that the soldier killed your Mercy. Like, nobody's called that Mercy's died. Not even your Mercy. You gotta call and know who is down, because when your main support like gets picked like that, like, you need to be a lot more cautious, and you almost like some teams would even like consider just backing up out of the fight entirely and just give it to them. So that for a little bit, so they could actually fight at the full 6 instead of like trying to fight at 5 and then get mess up even worse.
Means they can't stop my ultimates anymore.
Yeah, because well,
Alright,
you've gotten your healing, but while you went to leave to go get healing, which you needed, your team has died because they also did not have healing. Again, because your Mercy got picked and she only just got back.
Get out of there.
I'm down.
And now you're calling retreat. That's good. You got a good pick on the soldier, but that soldier pick's not really gonna matter much because by the time you regroup, he's gonna be spawned again.
Alright, I'm with you. Let's go. Left side, destroying her.
88.
Okay.
70%. Feel free to use your ultimate when you get a good.
Well, your Hanzo's gone on a flank to secure a pick.
Junkrat's down.
He got... Your Hanzo traded 1 for 1, which isn't great, but Augment was able to get the brig, which is nice. So you've got 2 for 1 right now.
Down.
Ooh, and you're still going.
Killed Zarya. Poacher. Junkrat.
Okay, we're actually getting some target calling. That's good.
I'm gonna go forward.
Yep, you drop down to get healing.
Grab's out. Brig's the only one caught.
Help! Crap!
First
Help!
guy behind us. Going for him.
Hey, behind
Oh.
us!
I mean, okay, you made the same mistake again, which was you weren't by your Zarya to follow up on her grav, which, granted, you used Riptire and got a pick on the soldier, and I mean, he only got one in his grav as well, but, like, you gotta communicate and play with your front line a bit more, even as Junkrat.
Moira.
Your Hanzo's gotten 2. Soldier got your Mercy again. That's not going to bode well for you. Because you guys never do well when your Mercy gets picked.
Man, did we fight Kiwis?
Okay. They swapped over to Hammond, Zarya, Soldier, Junkrat, Brig Moira.
Freaking quick boy?
Soldier's down.
Let's see.
I
Yeah.
have to
They
recruit.
got your Zarya, I mean, your...
We have to recruit. Back up a little bit. Go crowd. I almost have Crab again. Trying to get a easy win for us, but they didn't fall for it. Let's regroup.
You're lucky you're playing with people that won't push up to get stagger, because they would be doing just that right now.
Alright, let him go back to his...
Okay, Junkrat, you're frontlining.
I have Crab.
Hey,
But-
right
Ooh.
now.
Zarya was frontlining, you got fragged for it.
Alright, thanks for the res. I'll use Crab once I get it.
We're playing a little too far forward.
Alright, back up.
Okay.
Alright. Crab's out. Got 3 of them.
Okay, and again, I'm sorry I'm picking on you, Amshigar. Like, you guys are all newer, but, like, you guys have to be in position to follow up on these grabs. Like, I mean, he needs to call them better too, actually. Augment, that's a thing for you. You need to call your grabs better. Give your team more notice, because currently they're, like, yeah, they're getting caught out away from your grabs because they're not like playing where they probably should be, but at the same time you're also not giving them enough warning to be in position to follow up. So, like, I'm guessing that Amshigar would have actually moved up to capitalize on the grab if he knew it was going to be used sooner, but you didn't give him that much time to react, and your Hans has gotten picked in the meantime.
Really get stopped the pin. Who said that? Sorry, that's my start. Focus her.
Unlucky.
Nice stop. First damage.
Okay.
For the soldier.
Almost another Riptire, which would be good if you can get back. Ooh, your Reinhardt gets a pick with his Fire Strike.
Alright, I'm on my camera.
Oh, but the mines get 3, and I can't even tell if that's their fault. I can't even tell if that's your guys' fault or not.
We did really well in the push. That's nothing to be ashamed of, guys. We did pretty well.
We got this.
Okay, and so before we go to the defense part of the first match, so let's talk about the things that went well and went poorly on your attack. You guys had a tendency to not call your ults very well. Like, there are some ults in the game that don't need to be called, like Pulse Bomb or Doomfist ult. Like, those two don't really need to be called because usually the person using them is either, in the case of Doomfist, he's using it as an escape tool probably, if he's not just looking for picks. And then for Tracer, she just gets it so often it doesn't even matter. Because she'll build up in the course of a single fight if she has to. But every other ult needs to be called. You guys were not calling your ults very well. Like, Augment, you called it a little bit, like, but you kind of called it after it already hit Q. You were like, I used grab. You're like Q. I got grab. I got 3 or I got 1 or something like that. So try to be a bit more proactive about calling ults. Like, for you, Augment, you're probably going to want to give, like, say, hey, I'm going to use grab next fight. Let's group up so that we're in position to take advantage of this. Because right now you're, like, some of you are going on flanks that you, like, occasionally they work. Like, Shikari, like, sometimes you do need to go on a different high ground a little bit further away from your team to just get some angle around shields. But you guys really need to focus on playing more as a team, as a unit, because you're playing Deathball. Junkrat should be playing with the back line to make it harder for the back line to be harassed and just picked at random. Apis, I didn't really get to see much of you because you and Shigar weren't really playing in tandem too much. You third point Dorado, you went on a flank that netted you a 1-for-1 trade, but you have to remember that especially on third points like that, any trade that isn't more than 1-to-1 for you is probably not worth it. You really need to get like a 2-for-1 or better, or a higher value pick if you're gonna justify going on that flank, because otherwise they're just gonna respawn and get back to the fight before you can, and then they're gonna get their value and you're not. Let's see. Tristan. Yeah, same thing with the rest of them. But especially because your ult has the same value as Josh's, where it can just be like IQ in team fight win. You need to be very proactive about calling your ults. You're like, okay, I'm gonna look for a shatter, and then your entire team knows, okay, we should expect to see a shatter, and then as soon as you actually hit the Q button, they'll be ready to follow up and get those kills. Vsauce Thief, I am so sorry, because you were just getting picked every fight. Like, you were probably the one on your team that died the most. And I mean, well, that's sort of because you're playing Mercy. Like, some of it could have been avoided if you had, like, Guardian Angel to, like, a corner or something, or had been able to break line of sight in a couple of cases. So focus on using Guardian Angel to get to high grounds or other places where you can try to avoid line of sight with the enemy. Androxus, again, I didn't really get to see too much of your support play, like with Apis' DPS play, because you and Shigar were not really playing in tandem. Yeah, just the biggest things are, you need to call your ults, first of all. And then second, you need to work on your team positioning. Because right now, I think you guys are really confused about where everyone needs to be playing. Because you've got the DPS frontlining occasionally, the occasional, like, off-tank is way too in front of the main tank with not enough health. So you have to keep, like, you have to work on your positioning as a team, because sometimes it just looks like you're staggering a lot, or just like throwing yourselves willy-nilly at the objective. Okay, let's skip ahead here.
I'm very good.
Getting sorry again.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so okay, so we've got Mercy, Lucio, We've got Mercy, Lucio, Ryan, Zarya, Tracer, Junkrat. I would change out the Mercy. Like, Mercy's good in this meta if you can play her. She is. She will always be good. But the problem is your supports are not good enough at getting value out of her res. And on top of that, there's just some healers with better healing potential. Even with her buff that went through. So you probably... I know your Androxus has a good Ana up his sleeve. And I know that he... both of them would probably be able to play Moira fairly easily. So keep that in mind when you're like picking comps, because while Mercy is fine, she really has to be really good about picking the right target to heal at the right time, because she can only heal them up one at a time. I mean, Ana can too, or Ana can only heal one at a time too, but she has sort of the same problem, but Ana does burst healing, Mercy does healing over time, which means it takes a little bit more time to heal. Oh, hi Swiss, welcome to the stream. Let's see if I have a... Do I have a delay? I don't remember if I have a delay. I do not. Actually, I think the only delay there might be is just between like you and me, because I do not have any enabled stream delay in my stream software. So. Yeah, so I just finished up their attack phase, and we're moving on to the defense. And I was just commenting on the comp that they're playing, because like they can get value out of the Mercy, but I know both of their supports aren't really great at healing priorities. So I was suggesting they probably have one of their supports pick something like a Moira or Ana instead, where there's a little less pressure to pick the right target at the right time.
Sorry again.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, they might try to run Iron Ship.
That's entirely possible. If they do, we need to be very careful. Attack the Bastion as a team.
Nick, are you able
How
to
do you
lock
know
those
they have
up
a
yet?
bastion already? What's that?
It wouldn't surprise me if they did.
You just need to play that here. Yeah.
So they're discussing the possibility of there being a Bastion.
We really don't know what we
Um,
don't know what they play besides
Pocket the tanks. I'll bomb
Okay.
them up here.
There's something wrong with this position, because he needs to be a little more willing to play his Diva or Hog. Yeah, with all this high ground, a Diva would be a lot better pick for Dorado, and probably B as well.
Wait, where is it?
Peace out, Steve. Get out of the way. Get back up to the top.
yeah, dude, you need to head up here with me.
Okay, now there's an even more glaring flaw. Like, look at where your team is, Shigar. Like, look at them. Look at them. They're all on the other high ground. What are you going to do if you get trapped? Or what are you going to do when they come around corner and you need to get back to your team? What are you going to do? You're trapped. Like, maybe if you start at the high ground across where your Tracer is, that would be okay. But, like, not where you are. You have no way of getting back to your team safely from here. You're just going to die.
I can't. Yeah, alright.
Yeah, look, you're cut off now. Your team's going to have to fight without you because you can't do anything. You can't get healing. You're going to have to try to jump into their back line. And in the meantime, because you got into the fight so late, you've not only lost your main tank, but you've also lost your main support. Also, it looks like Androxus is on the Mercy this time as opposed to Vsauce Thief. So what do you think, Swiss? Yeah. But yeah, so, yeah, as I was saying, like the enemy team got more value off than you did because you were not in a position to help your team.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Alright,
and then you die.
I can't see most of your models. I don't know what's going on, honestly. I can't see my HP, I can't see my models, I can't see my cooldowns, anything.
Yeah, pause.
Okay. Okay, you're calling for a pause, but nothing's. You're not. Yeah, so you're calling for a pause, but nobody's actually typing in text chat to actually say anything about it. So that's just a. Okay, you're still not.
Control. Well, we're not playing. We're not posting. Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Giving a pause.
Okay, you got your pause.
Looks like it's fixed
It's a little late,
now.
but I mean, at least you got it. In the meantime, since you guys were waiting for that, you probably shouldn't have tried to initiate into that last fight that you took, because you knew that someone was having computer problems, and you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have tried to take that fight with a person who can't see what's going on, especially since you had the option to ask them for a pause. And even if you didn't, like you guys just kind of threw yourselves at the point.
Now. Alright. I think we got total.
Okay.
That's our first one.
So I'm
We're
pausing.
gonna need our other.
So your entire team is picked. Back up.
No.
I hope we don't.
Okay.
Alright, we need to.
You're playing a little bit too aggressively here. Okay. Your Reinhardt's on cart. Why is he there? Reinhardt, you were playing without your supports. You were playing without your DPS. Nobody was ready to help you. You went in by yourself. You guys need to actually regroup when you're going to regroup.
Alright, you guys are
Okay.
in a really bad spot.
Here, team's been hammered down.
I'm dead.
You should run away. You should run away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regroup back. Go back.
No, you didn't know where you were. Now they know where you are. No, don't you.
Yeah, we're regrouping in a bad spot.
That's a decent pick. Now can we actually get point? No,
Yeah.
you guys aren't going to touch point, and you wasted your rip tire again. That one I'm not actually going to put on you. I mean, you used it after your team had been stagger killed, so it was still the wrong time to use it. but you could have still gotten value from it if the three of you had actually worked to try and dislodge the other three from the cart. Because let's see, who did you pick? Let's rewind. You picked the Moira and the Zen out of their comp. That's their supports. They don't have any more healing. And you have a Hanzo, you have a Junkrat, and you have Ryan. Ryan has to get in close, so he has to be a lot more cautious than the other two of you. You two can just spam damage and try to kill that Zarya. And I mean, I guess they also have a. Oh, I didn't see they had a break. So Ryan really can't take the fight because like there's a break, but like he can try to stall objective while you and Junkrat, or I mean, while you Junkrat and the Hanzo can just spam damage into them. Briggs does not have enough healing to keep the both of them healed, especially since you're both high burst damage heroes. But your Ryan doesn't push to point. Your team, the soldier is controlling the high ground, and they get point. And now your Hanzo's caught behind them. You die on your way back.
Yeah, they're running. We're almost running. They're somewhat caught.
3 supports, soldier, and 2 tanks.
Yeah.
Should I switch?
No. No, you should not switch.
Ana maybe, but to deal with some of the healing. But I don't think any of our supports play Ana. We almost have Grav.
Augment. Know what your players play. The first rule of playing as a team is knowing what everyone's capable of. Like, boy. Okay. Androxus. I have talked to him. He has an Ana. You should ask him to play Ana. But you don't know that because you haven't asked him. Okay, you're going for Soldier, not really the best target to aim at. It's Junkrat, because he's a little slow.
Soldier's down.
Okay. But Hanzo gets him. See? You need... See, as Junkrat, your priority is to hit the big targets. The big ones that take a lot of damage to kill. Because, yes, you can one-shot a squishy if you get... Do you mean Captain Swiss piece? Oh. Well, he's the captain of the team, that's why. But, no, our coach, so we actually have a coach, but he primarily focuses on the top team, and so the other 3 teams are kind of just left to themselves, which is why I'm doing this coaching review for them. I mean, he'll review footage if we send it to him, but it's a little more, he's not necessarily going to get back to you on the footage right away, so I'm doing this for them, as a favor, sort of. But yeah, no, he doesn't take the lead. So, Augment, this is kind of just a general critique of you as a captain and as the leader in game. You need to actually talk to your team more and figure out what they play. Because you can't be, like, as Evan and I are discussing in the stream chat right now, you can't, like, not know if your supports can play an Ana. You have to know what people can play, because otherwise you're missing out on a lot of, like, value. Or just diversity in cast. So, like, you need to actually take more of an active role in determining your compositions and knowing what people play. Okay. That trance isn't going to do shit. It's a good job of knowing that. Oh, your team got hammered. That's not a good... Oh, Mercy was playing in front, got murdered. Ryan got bubbled and was playing in front. Let's see. Okay, let's see. We're actually sticking to corners and behind the shield this time, so that's good. Soldier charged in and somehow didn't die immediately. That's surprising. You're playing way too aggro for having 23 health. Oh, you're... Okay, you realize your mistake there. Okay, you need... You need to use your concussion mines more. You're not using them very much at all. Like, there's times you could... Okay, look. There's an actual grab for you to follow up on, and you do it.
Push it on them.
Because you spawned right on top of it.
Kill the Zenyatta for sure. Kill the Reinhardt. Blast, you can't kill the Reinhardt. I want to try, but...
Ha, get proved wrong, Josh! Yeah, I agree. If you... Augment, if you write down the top 3 or 4 characters that each of your players plays, that's a good place to start. But you need to have more of an idea of what your team can and can't do, because right now the lack of knowing is putting you in a bind. Also, get proved wrong. Your Hanzo can fucking kill the Reinhardt.
I got it.
You're hitting tab, but you're not really checking very long. You're not checking long enough to see what the respawns are.
A couple of them are coming up from the left. No, I think. Yeah,
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they're coming in from the left by the looks of it. Oh yeah, they're definitely coming left.
Trap left side. Trap left side. You're not trapping.
You're
You're not trapping. You're not backing up.
I'm gonna drop down on low ground.
Okay. Junkrat trap is not usually very useful unless you know where they're gonna go. Then fucking put one down. If you think they're gonna go left side, put a fucking trap there so that they get, well, trapped, so that you can try and screw one of them over.
Be prepared for ultimates. Zarya has her ultimate by now. There's no way she doesn't.
Okay, you're playing. I'm not gonna shoot and just try and hide. That's not... Okay, again, this Zen, man, this Zen is just letting you get all the value out of your Junkrat tires on this defense. Like, popping trance does nothing but save him. Like, good job on you for knowing you can still go for people in trance with the rip tire. Okay, now, get that soldier off of high ground. Kill him.
Nice hold.
Okay.
Breaks down. Zarya
Okay.
off here.
You got most of them. Just need to finish off that Zarya.
Down goes Zarya. Just focus her. Nice job.
Got her.
Could have paid a little more attention to that.
And we can use dragon.
Okay. You've seen them come through left side. Put a trap
They're
there.
gonna go left again if I had to guess.
You even predicted it too! Also, hang on, I'm gonna fix something real quick. Just so you can actually see my hands and... You just agreed with me, they're probably gonna come left side. Put a trap there. You're not trapping.
I don't see him come from either side by the looks of it.
Okay, you're Lucio. Vsauce thief. Totally agree. So, Tristan, you need to more about, if you're not gonna, like, you should target call if you can, but really, at the very minimum, you need to pay attention to where people are going, since you have to, your entire job as Reinhardt is to be the first thing that the enemy engages with. That's your job. So you have to know where they're coming from so that you can be in a position to be the actual front line and catch them. Yeah. Also, you could probably take up more of a shot calling role, especially since nobody else on your team seems to be shot calling at all until the very ends of the fights. But like for the first like 10 seconds or so, nobody's calling anything until like half the enemy team dies, and then you're calling targets.
They could be going
So.
over.
They probably have to wait for everyone.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
they're
they
going.
had to regroup. There they are.
Yeah, they're looks like they're going left.
Okay.
again. Soldiers going.
They're going left again.
Hey,
Trap.
Soldier
Put a
go.
trap. Okay, you're at least putting damage that way this time, but like
One low ground left.
trap. Okay.
I almost have grab. We can use Dragon Strike with it.
Okay.
Just give me a minute to grab it.
That was a decent position
Are you
for
ready?
you.
Yes.
Grab now.
Okay, good, 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 good.
Focus Reinhardt.
Okay.
I'm
Are we
for
gonna see
Tana.
a
Get
grip
back.
tire out? Yeah. Yeah, we are.
I'm down.
Okay. Triggered it a little too early. Not a problem.
Don't kill that break.
Or maybe it was.
Right.
Okay,
I'm on
the
one
Reinhardt
back.
goes down, but you've also died.
I got stuck.
Reinhardt got
Kill
picked.
that break.
I'm coming.
I got this.
Use those concussion mines. Okay, you're more. Okay, another problem with your Junkrat play. Use the concussion mines more. They're 120 damage and like force the other team to be out of position. Like, you need to use them more than you use the trap. Yeah, the trap's nice if you can prevent someone from backing up, but like you need to use your concussion mines more. Because that's missed damage you're just not getting. Oh, see, there we go. There is
Kill Moira.
one.
Kill Moira.
There's a. There's
Have
one.
a Hammond now.
Okay, you've gotten the Moira.
10 yes. 10's half. Focus that. Keep one.
Okay,
Nice shot.
Got the soldier.
you got soldier with your.
Two more pushes.
Yeah,
Get
damage.
that.
I got one more
I
bolt
have,
on me.
I'll have grab.
I got ripped
Yeah,
tire
I'll
again.
grab.
Okay,
We can combo ours. We can try to combo ours.
we've got a Hammond again.
I have grab.
That should be nice trash damage for
They
you.
probably have one or two more pushes. Depends on how fast they make this push.
Oh,
God, they got me.
you got picked immediately. Concussion mines give you aerial mobility because you can detonate them. So unlike where Doomfist locks you into an uppercut animation, with Junkrat and a Hammond, if you got pile drived, you can concussion mine yourself away to safety. And instead, you just sat there and he
Now,
fucking burst you down in a one shot.
alright, that forced out to Zen ult.
Yeah, you tried to primary fire him, and that ruined you.
Healing.
Now without your damage, your team's
They probably got it.
falling.
Get really big grip tire.
Oh, I thought I
They got alright, they're out of
Wish
fire.
we could see more of what's going on, but
Try to get a,
yeah.
get a rip tire, you have to.
Yep.
Oh God, that's not enough.
That's
Get
two.
out, boy! Get out, boy!
I can use my ult as soon as I can get out.
Alright. I'm on the grab. Focus firing. I'm down.
Okay, you.
That's it. Ah! We had it! We had it!
And we missed what the rest of that fight turned out being. But yeah, you got picked first against the Hammond. Use your concussion mines. They're very useful for mobility, and they're very useful for doing a lot of damage. You're a little too hesitant to use them. Either that or you just forget they're available. Yeah, it's gonna be the Wrecking Ball. It's okay, so this is on your attack. So that's what happened. Your Reinhardt just walked into the mine. Ouch. That hurt.
Josh, answer him.
Let me
Come
check. Who's 15? I don't think we have a problem with it.
Go ahead.
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
We did.
I'm good spectating.
I never had them.
Okay, so Peters, these players are yeah, they're like gold and silver. Some of them are unranked because some of them haven't Like, I don't think Vsauce Thieves has played competitive before. But, like, yeah, they're, like, gold and silver. Also, hello, Peter. Thanks for stopping by. But, yeah, so, just major things from the first map. It looks like your major problems are positioning, and then for you specifically, Sugar, your, some of your positioning is just needs some work, and then some of your mechanics as well.
Maybe should have gone Sombra during that.
Well, and then as already stated,
I don't know.
Augment, you need to actually take more of a role in like calling your team to do things and
I'm
like
ready.
call comps or call strategies. Just do something because currently you're doing absolutely nothing and your team is getting no value out of you as a shot caller. Okay.
I'm really not sure what second TPS to have.
Dude, I collect this
Soldier.
Soldier's a solid choice.
Okay. Should probably call or either especially for Apis because he's probably the person with the most experience on your team since he seems to play most of the DPS roster competently. Either give him a definitive answer or let him decide what he thinks he needs to play. Because, like, giving him nothing and expecting something and giving him nothing is a lot worse than just giving him nothing and he expects nothing so he knows, so he can just pick for himself. Also, I wouldn't be running Lucio Zen here. This you're so low sustain that you're gonna have to play perfectly.
I have a lot of Devo points, but I also play Devo.
Makes sense.
Also, Soldier's not really the best hero in this meta because he has trouble getting around shields. Yeah, the enemy Soldier was tearing up first map, but like he was also making sure he was in a position to do that damage, and none of you are. Okay, that's a good hack on the Reinhardt, but it was before your team even initiated, so you are still running into the problem of you're doing everything at the wrong time. Also, apparently your Reinhardt went on to point while all your other team was on the exact opposite side of the point. So, completely expected result. You hack the Rhine again, and again, you understand that he's probably the one you need to prioritize hacking first. Your Zen killed him. Translocated a little early. What was that? What was that translocated there, sir? God. Yeah. Anyway.
That's it.
Probably should have waited to unstealth once you had picked up target. Let's see. Okay, you have 30 health. Probably get some healing from the little supports you have.
Nothing.
I need heals bad.
Yeah, you're running Lucio Zen. You don't have a lot of heals. If you're going to be running Lucio Zen and Sombra, you need to take advantage of the Sombra's potential for health pack healing. But you can't really do that either because the health packs on this map are not really point friendly. Like the I don't think I have Sappin in on here, unfortunately, so I can't use that. But there's not really any great health packs near the point, so like your tanks have to go pretty far out of their way to get them, and they're the ones who need the healing the most, probably. So, like you probably should not be running this comp. You should probably have a different support setup.
EMP.
Alright.
The Mercy was better than not having a main healer at all.
Moira's gonna be behind you.
Yeah,
Okay. The Moira decided she wanted to take you on 1v1. You ran away because you're smart. And you know that you probably shouldn't do that without the rest of your team.
Yeah, go.
Okay, you have EMP. Let's see how you
I
use
can
it.
throw grab in there.
I got EMP.
Okay, you're
Ready?
calling. I have EMP.
All right. I'm gonna look for a grab. Grab's out.
Okay. Not a bad idea, but it.
All right, probably didn't need smoky just ult, but that's okay. On, soldier.
Okay.
Got him.
So this is the first useful call or useful thing Josh has said this map. Or I should say augment. Augment, that's the first useful thing you've said this match. We've used too many ults. But the problem is, you should have been saying something more useful before that, like, we're only going to use grab. Or don't just spam ultimates, because you guys basically won that fight because you just spammed ults. The grab was good. The follow-up was made easier by the EMP, so that was probably okay. But you probably didn't need to pop trance. And I can't really blame Vsauce Thief too much because he is the least experienced with your team. But I think he's still confident enough to know that if you tell him not to use Transcendence, he will not use it.
That's dagger.
So,
He literally teleported, walked onto the point.
okay, also they have 87% cap, so you need to...
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that 81 or 87% cap? I can't even tell.
They have 81%.
Oh, that's 81.
81%, so one fight, we're in one fight territory here, guys. We have to win this next fight.
No, yeah, it's... No, silly augment. You don't just have to win one fight. You have to win all the fights.
I've got my own.
Okay.
Okay, so they're coming high ground. You react by not flanking, which...
Why did you
Okay.
bubble me?
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah. Mistake was made. Do not use bubble on any of his Sombra. That kind of gives away her entire position. Oh. The fuck did I just watch? Did I just watch a shatter on all of your team, and then your Reinhardt went on a flank shatter behind that shatter? Like... Oh, God. Okay, so, from one, your Reinhardt counter-shattered after both of your supports died, which, again, I would like to point out, are still Lucio Zen. Probably keep the Lucio, switch the Zen to something else, because you're not running enough heals for your team anyways. Especially in a Brawl comp. Like, Brawl really needs the sustain that just Lucio Zen will not bring you. Yeah, no. He probably should not have gone for that counter flank shatter because not only did it result in both of your supports dying, but it also made it like if he had just been in front in the first place, he could have just blocked the shatter and then counter shattered anyways. And instead, you lost the fight, and you both ended up using Shatter, but one of you got value out of it, and one of you did not.
Mario's low, or was low, rather.
Moira burned her ult. Okay, your Reinhardt's been picked now. Augment got picked. Okay. Good, this is good. You should look to touch point in case your team can't make it back.
Spent way too much time dawdling and...
Okay.
Wait until it's 95 before you go in.
I might not have any choice.
Get in there now.
Okay, your soldier touch point for you. Because your Sombra did not touch point like she said she was going to. Okay. Okay. You've killed the Reinhardt. I think you've traded 1 for 1. You've hacked the Moira. That doesn't really do much. Okay, that's better. Okay, and no one's target focusing. No one's target calling, and even you are just shooting. You're shooting like 3 different people. Focus on one. As to quote a abridged anime series, I know, not exactly relevant, but shoot until it dies. If it dies, then you move on. You don't move on to from something that hasn't died.
They got me.
Yeah.
Oh, bless. I won't get the grab. Got it. But I wasn't able to use it in time. Doesn't matter anyway, we lost.
Collections.
Yeah, that's it.
Damn.
Blast.
Okay, so you lost the round because you tried playing Lucio's End
Really good person.
into a Moira Braid Brawl comp.
Probably could have saved the soldier ult in good time. But other than that,
Let's see.
basically we can't dawdle like.
Okay, so Josh, Augment, you've actually cut down on your unnecessary comm sum. You've just also seemed to have cut down on the useful callouts as well. Like, I told you once that. Hi, I'm Shigar. Sorry, I'm not roasting you at all. Sorry, bud. But yeah, so from that round, you ran Lucio's End and never tried switching up your supports.
I'm gonna go to Roadhog. If you can switch servers if you think that'd be better, Tristan, but stay on Ryan if you're better if you think that'd be better for you.
Okay.
Sanctum.
So you switch.
Yep.
Okay. You've actually made swaps. Okay, you now have an Orisa Hog and Mercy.
They're all gonna be Roadhog too.
Well, I was gonna go
Let's see.
Roadhog, but
No, that's what I'm saying. Their frickin' thing's gonna be Roadhog. They're off tank.
probably.
Orisa has like 20 seconds of fire.
Okay. Let's see. You roll out mid. Let's see. Where are you gonna go from here? So you roll out left. They're rolling out to their left. Okay.
Soldier Orisa.
This is good. Hack the soldier so he can't just blast your face off. Get that health. Okay. Micro thing for you, Shigar. You can't always wait for the translocator. Sometimes you just kind of have to Kobe it back to where you want to be. Because if you waste a couple seconds like that, you could miss an opportunity to save your team or win the fight. Because you were literally just looking at the ground for several seconds while you waited for the cooldown to come back. You've hacked the brig. She can all our stun. You're back out. They've attritioned you off the point. And it's dead silent. Nobody's calling anything.
I was expecting to step back. Are we down anyone?
You are initiating.
Sorry.
Okay. Luckily, the soldier does not notice you as you translocate to his face.
Nice move.
I booped somebody.
Caught the
Okay.
Moira.
You guys have done a couple things. Translocate out again to health. Hack the health pack.
Nice
Okay.
job. Good job. Good
Focus
take,
that
good take.
soldier.
Great take, guys. We didn't get him. I was trying to thread the needle there. Don't go too far. Nice catch. Nice catch.
Okay. So. Okay, so Josh, this was a mistake. Well, as I was discussing with, I was actually playing with Sparks earlier. You should try and hold that first door to the right, because that's the way their team wants to go. And so if you can prevent them from going that way for free, you can have a lot more advantageous positioning that way. So it wasn't actually playing too far up. It was now you're going to end up playing too far back. You're going to be giving them positioning for free, which is never what you want to do.
Remember, they can come right side as well as go behind us.
80% EMP. Looks like they're coming up front.
Okay, so you're scouting. That's good. You're probably scouting a little too close, but you got it. Okay, you're hacking before your team. Okay. Okay, Shigar, you started trying to attack their team before your team was even in a position to see them, much less help try and clean up a kill. Okay, so they're going underneath. looking to get an EMP off on them. That's a good idea. And they just let you walk in the middle of them and just let you spray your EMP all over their faces. Okay.
Alright.
Okay, you guys are doing a good job keeping them bottled up.
Try to get Drake
Oh.
moved in there.
That's all.
Got hit. But guess what? I'm
Oh.
still alive.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, regroup.
Okay, so I can't tell exactly what happened there because you were in the middle of translocating. But, you guys were doing a really good job keeping them bottled up in there. That's actually a great place to try and trap an enemy team because they have to try and fight their way out. And it's pretty easy to just keep firing into the room, especially since you've got a soldier. Like, that's a really great place to just fire into and build alt charge and keep them trapped there. But apparently at some point you let them out and they just, and because they got out, they ran you over. Now you're trying to solo tag an Orisa, and you got shot down instead because you forgot to translocate out.
Stay back.
That
Don't
soldier is
further.
good, like really good.
Oh, yeah. Their soldier is good.
He's not actually that good. He's not burst
I
firing.
can't think of anyone that's really bad on their team. Everybody here?
Yeah, let's go.
Alright. Let's go up behind them.
Thanks for the follow on Shigar. Okay.
Alright.
If he helixes you, you should probably translocate to safety because it's not going to go well for you immediately after you getting helix at close range. You're just not going to win that.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
Especially since it seems like his team dropped
Thank you.
supercharger. Well,
I'm dead.
Mercy got a nice res on you.
Regroup. Got one more push. Alright, there's something. Go underground, but I don't have ultimate.
You shouldn't be trying to drop underground anyways.
Yeah. You have a little time, but not much. We're in one fight
Okay.
territory for them.
Yep.
If they want to fight, it's
Ooh,
Alright, we're
forgot to
down.
place the
We're
translocator.
choice. Clutch, go.
If you're gonna do aggro plays like that, you need to have your translocator in a safe position so you can just get out for free.
Forward.
Instead, you got just brutally
Okay,
murdered.
Got the soldier.
Able to kill her.
Ooh, I'm down.
I'm down as well. That's game. They got it. Blast. It would take a huge play, but yeah, I can't get it. Blast. We played some of those later fights poorly. That was kind of the problem.
I mean, here you're just doing what any staller would do.
There's no way we get there.
Just okay,
Blast.
yeah.
That's unfortunate.
You guys tried.
But
Well,
one point, we played that really
At
well.
that last point, you
Really
tried,
good there.
but
Oh, what?
Nice.
Oh, I didn't. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you booped the brig,
Gold elims at least.
uh,
and then you booped.
Andraxis, you can't boop a fortified Orisa. I'm sorry, but you can't. Also, you probably shouldn't have gone into the middle of their team for that boop. Like, yeah, it worked. It got you to play the game and the fight, I think, if I remember that fight correctly. But you almost fed. Just by doing that. You got lucky. You didn't feed because your Mercy was able to, I think, keep you topped up, if I saw that correctly. Okay, so first match. A lot of positioning mistakes, really. Some of you guys are forgetting to use some of your utility.
It's so annoying because we could have won that. We should have won that, especially the first one. The first one we should have won.
Alright, I gotta take a shit. So yeah.
Alright, yeah, well, we learned a lot.
Great,
So.
wise words. Okay, let's see. Where does
Yeah,
the...
just because I pick Roadhog doesn't mean you have to pick Orisa.
Junkrat's left side, or
Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we're on to the start of your second match versus SDSU. Let's watch.
Alright, invite our guy.
Oh, well, looks like you're just gonna play a game.
Yeah,
Yep.
Well, I mean, we responded ready.
yeah. I mentioned it, but apparently didn't see it because of all the spam.
No reason to try and tilt your team, Augment.
Alright, what do we want?
Don't tilt the team before the game has even started. Jeez.
They didn't respond.
Probably Lucio for support.
Yep, good. That's a good
other
call.
Support. I know you can't. Mercy's probably your best pet. Mercy or Moira.
Okay, that's actually a good pick.
As for second DPS, hit scan. I have a feeling they're gonna go for. They might go for Farah. Widowmaker might be a decent choice, but Crew wouldn't be
If you think they're going to play a far, run a Diva, Josh.
bad either.
Augment. God damn it. I'm going to keep doing that, aren't I?
Yeah, that's my choice.
Okay. Okay, you guys aren't really talking much about anything. No, don't type. Okay.
Johnny dead.
Alright.
Okay.
Looks like they're doing.
You're teleporting in the middle of the open. Problem 1. Never teleport into the open with Reaper. It's usually a bad idea.
They're doing
Okay,
double tanks.
you use your Wraith Worm because you think you're under pressure. And now you don't have for trying to rush through and get that Ursa.
The Roadhog.
You definitely should have been able to
You can
kill.
also use Sombra instead of Reaper to help deal with the Doomfist.
Okay, that's a good call.
I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Let's just give it up, give it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You peaked. I was gonna turn on the video quality, but oh no, that's not what I meant. You got picked because you peeked around the rock. When you're regrouping, you gotta make sure that you're not showing yourself at all. Yeah, you just peeked and got picked.
Yeah, wait, hold on, wait for
Free ult charge, free kill for the enemy.
We're still down 2.
Let's see.
Ethan's at the
Go back up to strength.
Alright.
Let's see. Okay.
Discorded.
Okay.
Close in.
That's just unlucky for you. See, in the meantime, they've used Transcendence, and I believe you used Shatter.
Got the wrong Doomfist. Nice kill, but that doesn't mean much at this point.
Yeah, that was also just kind of unluckers.
Regroup, back up, back up.
Thank you.
He was not aiming for you.
Towards me, Josh.
Yeah. That's not Augment's fault, but Augment, you should try to secure the kill before you just try to hook something into just because you can. Make sure you can secure the kill. Roadhog can still one-shot people, and that Doomfist wasn't especially high health. Okay, so your Moira has used Coalescence to initiate the fight. That's fine. Your Reinhardt left you, and you all got shattered, cutting off your Coalescence healing. And you're going to be fucked.
Have one more try.
You picked the Doomfist, and you could have wraithed away, but instead you tried to challenge the Reinhardt to another close quarters duel, and because he has a giant hammer, he wins. Can't see what's going on right now.
Alright, force then, yeah, but I'm down. That's it.
Yep, you guys aren't gonna be able to make it to point. Okay, that one I didn't see a whole lot of comp issues. It was more really, really terrible positioning. Like, there's a couple ways Reaper can be used. You can use him as a flanker to try to just not necessarily try. You can try and pick a support depending on what their support setup is. But we saw that one for you. Reinhardt, you need to stay with your team because they've gotten shattered because you've gone off on your own. You really need to stay with your front line so you can block those shatters and not just lose the fight because you weren't in the right place at the right time. Because that's what a lot of these fights are for you guys. You guys are just moving to the wrong places at the wrong time, and you're getting punished for it.
Reinhardt, if you stand on your Reinhardt, you can actually do very OP.
Yeah, you want the Roadhog still for the Doomfist, I guess. So that's fine. Same thing with the Sombra. Sombra probably would have been a good swap last map as well. Now this is my question. Apis, I love you, man. You're a good DPS player. You've played against me, and you've done really well. Why the fuck are you picking Symmetra? I didn't hear anything about it in your comms, and I'm really wondering what aspect of their team you were expecting to counter by playing Symmetra. Unless chat wants to tell me that Symmetra is a good counter to Doomfist. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but it's not my first thought. Oh, and they're running double shield tanks without a... Interesting. Okay. We've gotten the Zen. Target call. Target call. Okay.
I'm slapped.
I almost got EMP already.
Alright.
So they're running the same comp. They're running double...
Get rid of the Doomfist.
Okay, wait, hang on.
I almost got EMP already.
Alright.
Okay. So this comp is double shield tank, Orisa Reinhardt. That's not really the best in the world. Then they're running Doomfist Soldier. Kind of interesting DPS comp. And then Ana Zen, which I like. The Ana Zen is good from your opponents. And what do you have? You have Sombra, which is good against the Doomfist. And the Soldier is kind of and is great at shutting down the Reinhardt. But the problem is, you have to somehow shut down the Orisa, who has a shield that can't be hacked without EMP. So they're always going to have a shield. But you're pretty good at shutting down the Doomfist. You also have the Roadhog to help shut down the Doomfist. I'm wondering if that's really... if you're misdiagnosing a problem, because I really don't think the Doomfist was your issue last time. I think it was more of just you guys were all over the place. The Symmetra. I have no idea why the fuck you're doing this. Yeah, supposedly she's great against shield because she doesn't run out of ammo ever, but is she ever going to do enough damage to break the shields permanently? Like, because they can just cycle between their two shield tanks.
Hope we can use that to get rid of the Doomfist. I'm pretty low.
That and the Doomfist doesn't really care about you. Like, the only thing he cares about are your turrets, and those aren't really that hard to kill either. Your Reinhardt is again on a flank, and you dodged that pin. You dodged that pin somehow. But your Reinhardt was flanking again and got punished for it because he was too far away from your healings for them to help him. Please tell me you don't initiate.
Solo ult.
Well, I guess you hack, and I guess you destroy the supercharger. But you need to get out.
Too far, too far.
Okay.
Everybody else.
Alright, I'm gonna be above him. Let me know when you're charging in.
Wait. We don't have Lucio.
He's right here.
Wait. Okay. Never mind.
Okay, let's see.
Alright.
Waiting for your team. You're actually waiting for your team to initiate once. That's great. Okay. EMP, go. Okay. You're focusing on the wrong... You focused the wrong target after EMP. Zen has 50 health and 150 shields. All shields, including shield-based health, are destroyed when EMP is used. Granted, you got a Doomfist pick for free because Augment is using Whole Hog, which is great and all. But you could have focused the Zen and gotten a free support pick. Because that Ana is not going to help him fast enough without a biotic nade. And she's not going to be able to shut down a sleep dart either, so you probably should have gone for that first. Augment got picked by the players. Okay.
Zen bolted. I'm gonna move back.
Okay. Hack the Zen so he can't use his Transcendence.
Nice stagger there.
Yeah.
I was gonna force him to spend a little bit more time.
It's not really a stagger at well, it is a little bit, yeah, at that
Reinhardt's
point,
coming
but
down to the center, I think. Nope, they're regrouping.
let's see. Okay, you guys are just kind of staring at each other.
Sneak around, see if I can get the Reinhardt.
Alright.
No, they're going down to the left. Going down left.
Alright.
Okay, good call. That's something you need to be calling out as Sombras. Any kind of weird positioning things they're doing. Okay, good focus on the Doomfist. That was a good choice. But it was a good choice that you got the pick, but if we go back to last fight, let's see, where is it?
Nice stagger there. Nice. Alright, we got.
Right here. You saw that the Zen has Transcendence. That little check mark above his head when you hack a target means that he has his ultimate. Now, you have an ability that prevents anyone from using any of their fun abilities at all.
Going down to the left. Go down left.
And who do you hack? The Doomfist. He has a good plan, and it works that you kill him, but what happens? Transcendence. And you could have shut down that Transcendence if you had just hacked the Zen instead and killed him first. And instead, Transcendence happens, Augment dies. I don't know how. I think he just takes a whole fuck ton of damage to his face. You hack the Reinhardt, but you're not focusing him, so he's just going to get healed.
I'm on my way back.
Okay, good EMP. Got a bunch of targets. But your team's still not really in a position to capitalize. You hack the Zen, you need to run away from that Doomfist. Okay, you run to your health pack.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
That's point.
You lost point. Lost control. Yeah. Throw that back there. Okay, let's see who targeted first.
Reinhardt's coming back in. Focus him.
Okay.
I'm left.
You're... Okay. Tristan, you went for a shatter on an Orisa shield, which... I mean, the Orisa was on one side of it, but first of all, she can... Not only can she just fortify so that she doesn't get knocked down, but in addition, the shield does block damage both ways, so you're only ever going to get her if you're going to get anyone at all. And you end up just getting 0 people knocked down. Although you managed to survive, not dying.
Doomfist down.
You're still on the Symmetra, and your Symmetra is getting a couple picks, which is good. Reinhardt shattered your Rhine to kill him.
I'm down.
On Sugar, there is a thing called drop off in Overwatch. I don't know if you're at the range where Sombra starts messing with drop off. but you need to be a little bit closer than just sitting up on this balcony right here. Makes it a lot harder for you to kill those supports from far away. And now you're just screwed because you're not going to get back to the point.
I can't do it.
Because you waited for your anti to wear off. That wasn't...
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
should sub Chris. You can try that.
Okay.
What we're doing is Spectro. In here. That.
Okay, you're subbing
Ready?
in Strain Alpaca. This will be interesting because I haven't actually looked at his play today. Okay. So your attack comp is Ryan, Zarya, Lucio, Ana, Sombra, Widow. Not a bad choice. You don't have any frontline DPS, any real like frontline DPS, but you do have the Sombra who can go on some flanks.
Dear.
Oh, also, I guess just a quick talk before we head into the final map for HLC. Busan really showed how bad your positioning mistakes are and continue to be. Because the Tristan A, you need to stop going on shatter flanks. You do it way too often. The enemy's got wise. Not only that, but you were getting picked a lot because of it. If you're going to play Sombra, you need to know who you're hacking. You need to know the metagame of what is actually going on. You can't just pick Sombra and expect to, oh, lol, Q, I win. Unlike with Reinhardt and Zarya. With Sombra, if you pick the wrong target to hack at the wrong time, or you pick the wrong person to focus, you will just lose. Like, that fight you lost because the enemy team had Transcendence, and you instead took out a Doomfist, who, granted, could have gotten some other value, but the Zen had Transcendence, and that's a much bigger value ultimate if you can remove that from the field of play, instead of removing the Doomfist.
Alright. That's what they got.
So if you're going to continue playing Sombra, learn the metagame and learn what your kind of target focus should be. Because currently your target focus is not where it needs to be if you're going to play Sombra to her effectiveness.
To minimize time exposure.
Okay, so there's a Widow duel going on. Oh! What the fuck?
Oh, I got sniped last.
I don't know what just happened there, but you got decloaked by a Reinhardt coming off a spawn. Not much you could have done there, because why would you expect that? Avis has picked the Ana. You help finish off the Widow. That's good. Did not avoid that fire strike. And now you're in for a date with a big man's hammer.
I'm almost back.
Fortunately, I think
What the hell?
another blindside pin. You seem to have a fascination with getting pinned from Reinhardt at the weirdest times.
Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to regroup here.
Regroup. You got a pick on two of them, and you have spawn advantage. You have 3 people by point. You should be able to win this. Ooh.
Right.
Apis loses the Widow duel. Chris got a pick.
Says this may be a regroup, re-engages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, whoever that was, for pointing out the flaw with that plan. Although, Chris, you do seem to have at least one good idea. I mean, I can't see what your actual play is, but I like the fact that you're going for the anti-heals on the enemy team, because that's what you... Unless your team really needs that healing, you really need to be debuffing as opposed to buffing. The debuff is a lot more valuable. So, good on you for that. Okay. Oh, this is...
Yeah, focus the Reinhardt, focus the Reinhardt.
Get out of that close range
Right,
duel.
nice.
He lets you out of it for free. How nice of him. Apis is losing the Widow duel again. You hack the Moira, but that doesn't really do much to her. Prevents her from fading, but you didn't have any pressure that would force her, that would make her want to fade anyway, so you're just dead. And Droxus is gonna die too.
Alright, we need to get ourselves together. Stop going in alone. Getting isolated.
Yep. Thank you. Actually, do something about it though, Augment, if you're gonna call it. Because currently, you're occasionally making calls, but you're not actually listening to them. Okay, Chris got picked. You can't peek into Widow sightlines even if you're trying to regroup with your team. You just kind of have to hunker down. Because if you peek out, you're a free kill. Doesn't matter who you are.
Just wait it out.
Hopefully Apis is going to come up with that big W in the Widow duel because you really need him to just have uncontested sightlines. Okay, he wins it. You get the hack on the Zen. Good, you see he has Transcendence. He's down. You didn't have a Translocator to get yourself out.
Alright, we lost. They're down 2. We're ulted. You try to get an ultimate off if you can.
I got EMP. Give me a sec.
I'm down.
Uh,
Alright, nice ult.
yeah, they have both support ults. Not a surprise. Nice picks. Nice picks.
Up way.
Not a bad idea for keeping your Reinhardt alive, honestly.
I think they're gonna give.
Like, same.
I'm almost back.
Says they're gonna give. Immediately gets a recontest. Okay.
Alright, I'm back.
Okay. Amshigar, you're way too passive. Your entire team was fighting and you were just throwing trash damage from like high ground. You're Sombra. Get in there, EMP, clean up the fight, win. Instead you sat up high ground and just threw trash damage that didn't actually get anything done for your team.
Blast.
You actually focused the right target that time though when you EMP'd. You focused the Zen. That's always good.
We probably lost.
But you lost the fight because you tried focusing way too late on actually getting in and getting your value.
I can't get back to point in time.
No, you guys are not gonna make it back. Okay.
Blast. They're very disorganized on our attack, and that's
Couldn't have said it better myself.
partially my fault. It's all of our fault, honestly. We need to get her.
Says it's my fault, immediately blames the rest of the team. I see a problem with that. But anyway, yeah, all of you did have a problem with just not staggering, because I think that first fight where Chris ended up getting a couple picks, that's actually a good moment to back off. You don't need to get aggressive on that all the time, because their spawns are a lot farther than yours. So even if you wait to group up even a little bit, you're still going to have those 2 picks because they take at least 10 seconds to respawn, and then depending on the characters and the map, it can take anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds to walk back from spawn. So you have about half a minute with those 2 characters not in the game at all for you. So knowing when to back off and knowing when to get aggressive and making sure that the fights are decisive instead of letting them drag out. Hello there, for anyone that's new, I'm doing a VOD review of Trine Lightning. They're a collegiate level team playing for the TESPA Collegiate Series. Okay. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, we might want to hold on to the point. I'm not sure.
Hey, so did we just
I like the fact that you're scouting, but you could probably scout up even further than that.
Yes.
Reinhardt,
Okay.
Hammond, Moira, Symmetra, and Doomfist.
Doesn't call the break.
That's right. If we're going
Okay, there we
to
go.
die.
I have to switch. Doomfist gonna tip him on that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Ryan low.
Hammond on the point.
Damn.
good job, guys? That worked somehow.
Got Doomfist.
Right, breaks down.
Shigar, you can't take the enemy Symmetra teleporter.
Down as well. So is Hammond.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Good job spotting those and not wanting those.
Got her.
I don't know why Hammond's trying to contest. He just fed a bunch of alt charge. Twice. He has fed alt charge now. Actually, no, he didn't die the first time. No mind. Let's see.
On the right side of the main choke.
You hit tab to see what their characters are. Because we don't actually... I haven't actually seen the main support for their comp yet. Do they have one? Okay. Taking a one-on-one duel with a Hammond.
Turrets. Top left room.
Don't go too far, Tristan.
Hammond on me.
Caught the Doomfist. Break.
Okay. Okay, so Shigar and the rest of Trine Lightning. That is not Ethan / Apis. If you see people moving top left, call it. Like, your Widow player almost died because he didn't know that there were people coming up after him. Call that. Widow is supposed to be a carry player. She is probably one of the most active carry heroes in the game. But she can't do that if she can't stay alive. And the less calls there are about enemy positioning, the more likely is she's going to die before she can get value. Okay, so your Reinhardt got focused super hard. Doomfist got down. Is anyone gonna call focus? Call focus. Somebody call focus.
Down.
Okay, you called the Hammonds down. Nice EMP. That was actually a fantastic EMP. Like, that was quality. Cause let's see, what alts did you shut down? You shut down Symmetra alt. You shut down Moira alt, and you shut down all of their abilities. Just a good EMP. It's just a shame that your team was not there to utilize it. Don't let them get that tick. Don't let them get that tick. Don't let them get that tick.
They got it. Blast.
Fuck.
Okay. You wouldn't have done much because you were one Sombra, but
That is a...
you made a massive misplay by not trying to, what is it? You made a massive misplay by not, trying to go back to point. Like, yeah. Yeah, there wasn't, I didn't see as much on that attack, or on that defense, but, let's see. You lost your Reinhardt here. Oh, and then you lost your Ana. That's what happened. Yeah. So that last fight probably could have gone in your favor if you hadn't that fight probably would have gone a little bit better if you hadn't I can't think of what I'm trying to say. It probably would have gone a little bit better if you hadn't, if you had EMP'd a little bit sooner. So yeah, yeah, just you guys have a lot of positioning mistakes. Um, so you guys should probably talk about that in your next practice. Or since I don't think you're going to get another practice before Sunday, you need to talk about that first thing on Sunday. Let's see. Any questions or anything else anyone in chat wants to add? Because I don't know who all is still here. Okay. Does anyone have questions or things they want to add? Oh, okay, nice of you to drop by, Augment. Yeah, but essentially you guys just have a lot of positioning to work on, and call-outs. Your call-outs are terrible. Like, there were times where you were either saying too much, and then there were some times where you just weren't saying anything. Like, yeah, I'm playing around in my editor, so I now take up the whole screen. And now I take up a corner of the screen. Now I take up the whole screen. And now I don't take up the whole screen. Also, the biggest things I had for you, Augment, is you really need to take more of a you really need to be more of a leader and actually know your team's strengths and player abilities, because there was a literal point where you were like saying, I think an Ana would be good, but I don't think any of you play it, but you didn't ask. Not only that, but you didn't even know to begin with is the problem. Like, it's your team. You should know that. You should know what their capabilities are to play. Even if they're not going to have the, like, half the support roster down, like, you need to know what they have and don't have mastered. Also, Swissy suggested that you take down a note of each player's top 3 characters. That way you can work on memorizing that or knowing what you can ask of them. Yeah, I guess a lot of it ended up being a kind of a specifically VOD review of Amshigar, because it was his footage, and I kind of just was like, oh, these are mechanical mistakes that are just bothering me. But no, your team play has a lot of stuff to work on. Like, Tristan needs to work on not trying to flank shatter. He needs to work on not positioning with your team as opposed to being aggressive into the enemy team. You need to call your ults earlier, man. Because there were a lot of times Nick was out of position to, like, put damage into the grab because you called it the instant you launched it, and that was too late for him to try to get into a position to actually follow up on them. Also, I'm entirely watching chat now, so if you have anything else you want to add or respond with, that you can do so, and I'll see it. Who else do I have in, who else is still watching? Do I have any of, Nazarick people here? So I am obviously recording this footage, as well as streaming it. So, if you guys want to watch it, I'll have this exported to YouTube, and then, I'll additionally be up on Twitch after I end the stream. So, you can go back and rewatch all of my comments and everything. Because I only had, I think, something like a half hour of footage I ended up watching, or like 45 minutes. So there's a good, like, solid portion of this that is just me talking about things you need to fix, or cutting back to show you where mistakes happened. When we deal with one problem, someone else steps up and fills in the gap without us being able to stop it, if that makes sense. What do you mean by that? Do you mean, like, when you shut down an enemy carry, they still end up someone else ends up carrying? Is that what you're saying? Because your problem is not the enemy team. I will tell you that much. It's not... Yeah, you've had some decent opponents, but they're not, like, fantastic. They're not mechanically sounder than you guys are. Or at least too much. Because, I mean, again, there's, like... I spent a lot of the review, commenting on Amshigar's, like, mechanical mistakes, but, like, those were minor compared to your team play mistakes. The team play mistakes were, like, like this much of your problem, and his mistakes were, like, this much. Like, it's not your mechanics, it's your teamwork and positioning that, like, my team has the same issues, and I'm trying to fix it, but I think with your team, I don't think it's an issue of motivation, like I think it is with my team. I think for you guys, it's recognizing and dealing with the problem. Because there's been a couple times where in match, you even recognize when you're out of position, or, like, when you need to regroup, and you're calling for a regroup, but then some people are not actually doing the regroup, or poking damage and then just die. Okay. Is that really all? You have to. Do you have anything else you want to say, or anything else you want to contribute, or anything else? Or should I just stop the stream and you can go back and watch it? Also, that's a question to you, Augment. Since this is kind of a review of your team. Do you want me to cut the stream so you can go back and watch it, or are you good with staying right here and asking me questions? Okay. The only stream delay you should have is between my computer pinging Twitch with information and then Twitch pinging your computer with my information. So I don't actually have a stream delay going. But yeah, I'll cut the stream then. So thanks everyone that came to watch this review. Yeah. But thanks for stopping by.